following your program. Doesn't seem you're just following a process now.
You follow a process. That's something, companies have processes for everything except for prospecting.
Yeah.
And for some reason, when it comes to prospecting, they say to the sales reps, go make some phone calls.
Yeah. Go get them.
Go get them. Yet, if as managers or business owners, if we can lay out a process for our sales reps and say, okay, this is step 1, and this is step 2, and this is step 3, and you need to follow the steps, it makes it so much easier, and they're much more likely to be able to follow through. Because when you say to somebody, go make some phone calls, you're actually saying to them, make decisions on what you're going to say when you get the prospect. Make decisions on what you're going to say in voicemails. Make decisions on how many times you're going to call any prospect. Make decisions on whether or not you're going to send them an email. Make a decision on what the email is going to say. Make a decision on what to do if you don't hear back from the prospect. Make a decision about what to do with that prospect if you never get them on the phone. There's this whole series of decisions that need to be made. And somebody that is highly skilled and that's been doing it for years, they're probably capable of making all those decisions. But if you've got a new hire or somebody that's struggling, they're not.
And in listening to you, we're also assuming that manager would know how to do what you just described.
Well, there's that, too.
Yeah, because chances are they probably weren't trained on this also.
Well, they were probably told, go make some phone calls, and they either were successful at it or not.
Yeah.
But even if they were successful on it, if they were successful 10 years ago or even 5 years ago and they're not making calls now, things have really changed.
Thank you for that, by the way. I think that's very good insight to why our prospecting efforts probably aren't as fruitful as they could be. So let's talk a little bit about the individual, our sales professional. There seems to be, or maybe we just run into a lot of call reluctance. Someone doesn't want to pick up that 1,000-pound phone because they might be fearful of something. So how do you work with individuals, or what do you tell people to help them get through that fear of being nervous or talking to somebody they really don't have a relationship with?
Wow, that's such a great question. And there are two issues here. And one issue is the preparation, the skill, the process, which we've been talking about. And the other is the mindset. And lots of times, the conversation about cold calling is always emotional when it comes to mindset. It's always love it or hate it. And there are a lot of myths about what cold calling is. For example, one very popular myth is that cold calling is about going through the no's and the hang-ups until somebody says yes to you. Well, who in their right mind wants to do that? I mean, that's really dumb. And then there's another myth. I had a conversation with a colleague recently, and we were talking about the skill in cold calling. And he said to me that he thought the skill in cold calling was in knowing what to say when the prospect says no to you. And so you have to get really good at rebuttals. Now, to me, that was horrifying because to me, the skill in cold calling is in knowing what to say so that the prospect says yes. And if you go into it with the idea that everybody is going to say no, that's very daunting. And so what I say to my clients and to everybody that's listening to this interview, let's stop this emotional conversation. Nobody says that you have to love this. The opposite of hating to cold call is not loving to cold call. And there actually are people that enjoy it. I kind of think it's fun. There's other people that think it's kind of fun. But you don't have to love it. You want to get to neutral because you can function with a neutral mindset. You cannot function if you think it's about going through the no's and the hang-ups. If you think everybody that you call is going to scream at you and hang up the phone, it's going to be really hard to pick up the phone. If you simply think that you represent a product or a service that has great value and you are calling people that because you or your manager, somebody has done their homework, you have a pretty good idea that you're calling people that have a need of whatever it is you're selling, and you're going to call them and introduce yourself in this product or service, and that's pretty much it. If that's how you think about it, it's not that big a deal to pick up the phone and talk to prospects. And so it does require a shift in how people think about it.